but I honestly can't relate to you. I think that's nuts. Sorry. I wish I'm not. I wish I was more sympathetic. I've got enough problems of my own. That's what I don't need. It's me versus the canvas. The stupid canvas doesn't stand a chance. Does that make sense? Okay, and I'm doing a view of downtown Raleigh that I have done many times before. Here, let me point you that way just for a second. So it's a view, something like that. Got it? Yeah, except of course, I don't really care much for that weather. I don't care much for the air. There's my van, by the way, semi-legally parked in the median down there. What gives you the right to think you can park like that? I'm an artist. Okay, and I believe this painting, I know what I want to do. I want to create a pink, orange, salmon colored sky. Yeah, a little bit of yellow. Up. I'm out here and the wind is starting to blow and making horrible noises on my microphone. Even after my good friend in Iceland told me what to do about it. Thank you. I planned to do that, but that was last night that you told me that, and I've been running 100 miles an hour ever since. I have not had any time to start windproofing my microphone. So sorry about the noise. Can't be helped today. Okay, now, what do you do about bad weather like this? Well, first of all, the weatherman said that it might get a little bit sunny by about, you know what, my canvas is too high. Hang on just a second. It might get sunny in the next hour and a half or 2 hours. My time today is limited. Come on. Wrestling with one's equipment. All part of the business. It's not going anywhere. Oh boy, it'll probably fall down on me in the middle of painting here. Okay, I'm an inch down anyway from where I was. Okay, my first guess. If I put that building right there, it's too close to the center of the canvas. But if I put this second most prominent one right next to it, then that shifts the weight, the visual weight over there a little bit. So I think I'm okay. And before I proceed any further, special shout out to all my friends there at the Red Cross fundraiser on Saturday night. Greetings to you. I'm sorry I can't be with you there tonight. I had a previous engagement. I'm painting a wedding. I was with you for this event last year. Had a great time and raised some good support for the Red Cross. So my heart's there with you, but my body's not. So what we've decided to do is send this painting, which you see there before you, and this video, which you're hearing and watching right now, so that it's almost like I'm there with you. I'm there, I promise. I'm right there. I'm there with you. This is me. I see you looking at, don't look at me like that. I hear you laughing, okay? It's good to be with you again tonight. And My goal right now is to try to do a really good painting. And your job tonight is to do some really good bidding on this painting when it comes up in the live auction later this evening. Let's all do our part to support this wonderful cause of the American Red Cross, one of the greatest and oldest charity organizations in America. Goes all over the world. We all know what the Red Cross does, don't we? We see it in the news every time there's a disaster, almost anywhere in the world. There is the Red Cross rescuing people. I hope I never need their services. Therefore, those of us who are still able-bodied should do our part by helping those who are going to need their services. And those of you who are watching me live, you're saying, what is he talking about? Okay, let me explain a little bit. I just said this, but let me explain to you guys who are watching me live or in recording. You're just watching my broadcast. I'm going to create a video out of this video. I'm going to edit a video, cut it down and so forth, and it's going to be playing on a loop this coming Saturday in downtown Raleigh while this fundraiser is going on. We did very well for the Red Cross last year, and when we found out I had a conflict, then me and my friends at the Red Cross cooked up this idea. Well, how about if you do a painting and record a video? Or I think I suggested that to them anyway. So here we are, that's what we're doing. So parts of this video, I'll probably edit this part out, because I'm just talking to you regulars right now. But we'll, so I've done this view of Raleigh. In fact, I just did it from a photograph last Thursday, 6 days ago, didn't I? Some of you watched me do that. But of course, every time you do a painting, even if you've done the subject matter before, there's three things that at least that are different. One is I'm a different artist than I was last time I did this view. I'm only 6 days more mature than I was last time, so I'm not sure I can say I'm a better artist than I was 6 days ago. I hope I'm at least as good. I did a really nice painting 6 days ago at the Green Chair Project. But the other thing that's different, of course, is the weather. So the scene is different. The third thing is I'm standing where I've never stood in this exact place before. And this is a first. In fact, I'm cheating a little bit. I'm moving one building slightly in to the right so that I can get it in this painting. So there are a number of things that are different about today's painting from even the painting that I did just a few days ago. I'm different, the location's different, the weather's different, and of course it'll result in a different painting. So this is a more close-up than I've ever done before. Usually I'm backing up a little bit and I go out here. Now this canvas, by the way, is 30 by 40. This is a pretty good sized canvas. And those of you at the Red Cross, you see how big it is. In case you were wondering, yes, it's 30 by 40. Because you want to know if that will fit on your living room wall. Well, of course it will. You might need to take something down. Might need to cover up a window in your house, but it's worth it. As I like to say, your great-grandchildren will be fighting over this painting. They won't care all that much about all the other junk you have, but they will want this painting. So there you go. Make a good bid. The ages are waiting on you. Your great grandchildren are cheering for you. Can you hear them cheering? They're saying, "Grandma, bid! Grandpa, make that bid!" uh, and once again, I am using this oft repeated trick of doing my initial drawing in a fairly light color. Now in this case, a light color is red because I put a wash of red on the canvas. That's what makes this red outline a fairly light color. Does that make sense to you? I hope it does. Okay, and I'm just about ready. I think I'll stop right there and let's do some, while we're waiting for this to dry, let's do some drawing in pencil. I have out here today a T-square because I'm not positive that my easel is level. Does that make sense? Whoa, it's not level. Whoa, 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 whoa. So glad I know this trick. Oh my goodness, I'd have been up a creek. So I'm going to take a minute and do a whole bunch of vertical lines to try to get my true verticals. So when again, this only applies to people who do large plein air paintings like I do, but taking a T-square with you is a really good idea in case when you set up, your easel is not level. I'm very glad that today I brought it with me. So hopefully it'll help me get all my verticals vertical, and then I won't need it for the rest of the afternoon. I can only be out here till about 5:30 today, so I've got 2.5 hours to paint like crazy, and I will have to finish this painting back in my studio tomorrow, because when I get home tonight, I'm in charge of playing music. So there will be no painting when I get home tonight. I'm so relieved that I remembered to throw this T-square in the car. It usually stays in the car, but I took it out just a couple days ago because I had a van full of sound equipment. Someday I'm going to own a van that's big enough to hold all of my sound equipment and all of my art supplies at the same time. Until that happens, I find myself unloading one and loading the other. It'd have to be a really big van. You know, typical, like my van, that one down there, right? When it's full of art supplies, it's full to the roof. And when it's full of my music supplies, it's also full to the roof. So theoretically, I would need a van precisely twice that big to hold all my stuff. So if you're thinking about bequeathing me, you know, a van. There, that's how big I need. Bequeath, that's a good word, isn't it? It's kind of like a fancy word for gimme. Just in case, yeah, I know some of you were thinking about putting me in your will. I know you were thinking about it. Don't deny it. Okay, back to my Red Cross friends who are watching this on Saturday night. This is Thursday afternoon, and I've been waiting for several days for nice weather, and it is not materialized. So I am out here painting in semi-nice weather. Temperature's good, wind's not too bad. Oh, wait, sun's about to come out. Whoa. Hallelujah. This is my backup phone, which doubles as a camera. I don't use it as a phone, but I do use it right much as a camera. Okay, a word to my artist friends, my plein air, or you're thinking about plein air painting. Let me give you a word of wisdom. First of all, you have to have, if you're painting small, you don't have these problems. But if you're painting big, the way I do, you have to have something heavy enough to hold your canvas down from the wind. The wind is the number one challenge you face as a plein air painter. Number two usually is sun, not today. And number three is rain. Wind is number one. So today, though, I'm out here and it's cloudy. Now, a normal person would say, oh, it's cloudy, I can't go out and paint. Two things. One is, because of my Red Cross friends, I have no option. Today's my last day to get out here and paint. But besides that, some of my most successful plein air paintings have been done on days like this, when weather was threatening. It's right on either a storm was coming or a storm was going, or a storm might be coming or going. And it has been on a day like this when right before or right after the storm, the sun peeks through. And you know what that's like. The angels sing. The heavens part. You know what I'm talking about? That kind of moment. The good news is, if you take the chance of coming out and painting on a bad day like this, or an iffy day, it was pouring down rain an hour ago. And there I could get poured on again. That would be challenging. Wouldn't be the first time or the last, but it is challenging. Well, if you can just happen to be out here when the clouds part, it is glorious because you get beautiful weather effects. Two of my favorite paintings, plein air paintings, are ones that happen, and it dawned on me. Oh, I've got one here. You won't be able to see this, but here's my business card. Way up close, right? There's one side, and here's the other. Both of those paintings, I was painting at festivals, and both of them happened And both of these paintings happened on a day like today when the weather was bad. So there you go. The two paintings that ended up on my business card are paintings that I did in bad weather. Okay, I'm going to take a little break right here. Thank you, Ed. Thank you for joining me, Edward. Appreciate it. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Well, in the last several minutes, the weather here has gone from mildly threatening to way more threatening. So I've taken a few steps. I'm going to paint as long as I can. But as you can imagine, I have a number of fairly delicate electronics out here that you guys are watching through. I can't afford to get those caught in the rain, so I went and put on some rain gear so that at least if it starts raining, I can stick electronics in my pocket and worry about all the rest of this stuff when I get home. In the meantime, let's paint, eh? Now, what I'm doing right now, while you were gone, by the way, as you can see, I did a yellow wash over much of the painting and then a green wash down here. And then I also took a rag, or a couple different rags, and wiped out areas just a little bit. And now I'm coming in with opaque white. Now this is something new. I've toyed with it here and there a little bit, but last Thursday evening when I was doing the fundraiser at the Green Chair Project, in fact I was doing this same scene, you understand, but from a photograph. I did this. I started painting a white layer before the acrylics were dry, which is normally I have avoided that because I wanted this white layer to be truly white. But last week, again, about 6 days ago, I painted white acrylics into wet. No, I painted white acrylics into wet acrylics, and found, somewhat to my surprise, that I quite liked the effect. So my brushes here are picking up the wet paint, the acrylics that are still wet. Does that make sense? And smearing them around. So I found the other night that I quite liked this effect, even though it was against my religion. It was against what I've normally been doing for the last 14 years, waiting for the acrylics to dry before I applied white. But I did it the other night and went, wait a minute, this is actually quite pleasant. So we'll find out if this is a new twist on my technique. One nice thing about, if it is, by the way, I hope you're not hearing an echo here. This is louder than it needs to be. I've made a breakthrough on my sound quality of my sound, though. I now have a monitor. I discovered that I can play a Bluetooth speaker while these headphones are plugged into my camera. So that's a big breakthrough. So I can hear if all the last year, my friends, you guys have let me know when my sound starts going bad. Well, now I can hear it myself. So that would be a huge breakthrough if this actually works. Anyway, back to painting. So I discovered last week that I like this painting into wet. So I'm smearing the layers a little bit more And I liked the effect last week, so let's see if I like it this week, eh? That right there, what I just described, in my opinion, that's how progress is made as a painter. And that's why you have to paint in order to get better. Because the only way to discover these things is to discover them, is to stumble on something. Again, now, I mean, you can learn things from me, I can learn things from you, we can learn things from each other, but the really good stuff that you learn is quite by accident. As I said last week, after my experience, the competition in Norfolk, which I lost, I talked about that a lot last week, I was re-impressed with the fact that we cannot paint like each other. We really can't. We can copy sometime for the sake of education and so forth, but we really cannot make marks like one another. We are all as unique as our fingerprints, and that is a glorious reality. So once again, my Red Cross friends, Saturday night, I'm wearing all this stuff. Hey, somebody's talking. Hey, John. Thanks for catching me, my friend. Good to hear from you. Glad I caught your comment before it disappeared. Okay, back to my friends at the Red Cross. I'm wearing all these clothes because it looks like it's going to rain any second. So this is my rain gear. Quick little commercial for Frog Togs. If you want some really good rain gear, you go to your local sporting goods store and buy yourself some Frog Togs. Best rain gear, I believe, ever invented. Probably some byproduct of the space program. I really do hope that the sun will come out before I have to leave here today. If it does not come out, what am I going to do? Well, that is definitely one advantage to having painted here before, and I've got photographs of this view with sun shining on it. Today, I don't feel like doing this view as a rainy day. I love rainy day paintings, I really do, but I don't think this is the time for a rainy day painting, time or place for a rainy day painting. So that's not the direction I'm aiming at the moment. Everybody who knows Raleigh recognizes all these major buildings. You know, the way everybody recognizes the tallest buildings in their hometown, right? Yeah. That's what I'm doing here. So I don't have to get them exact, but I have to get them close enough that people recognize them instantly. More wind, sorry about that. It's quite amazing, isn't it, that making such crazy organic shapes like I just did, I'm going to do it again right here, that it could ever end up looking like a architectural thing. But I believe it will, if I don't screw up too badly. I've mentioned before that of all the buildings downtown, this one right here is the most, for some reason, is the most difficult to render. It's the most difficult to abstract. It would not be hard to draw it very, very carefully. You just stick out your tongue, take a while and paint it, render the thing. But to try to turn it into an abstract shape is the challenge. The windows in it do not lend themselves to abstraction. Well, that's my story. I'm sticking with it. So one of the rules I'm employing for painting this building is anytime you're painting a highly repetitious motif, which in this case is all these windows. You know, hundreds of little dark windows, repeated. Anytime you're doing something like that, the way to render that repeated motif is by using several different techniques. So you've seen me use at least 3 different techniques already in the attempt to render these windows, and I'll be doing several more. But it's already kind of beginning. Did I just do this today? By golly, I believe I did. I mean, this is intended to get paint on it, don't get me wrong. I hate to get paint on it like all at once, you know? That wasn't the idea. You're supposed to wear it more than once before you get paint all over it. No, I've worn this several times. You know, let's see if I can wipe some of this off. Wipe it off with dirty paint water. Also testing if it's good rain gear, right? It is. Yeah, pretty good. I didn't feel any of that water on my arm. Okay, now, again, another trick. Again, for those of you who may be following me a little bit, trying to do this stuff, after you've put down a heavy layer of white acrylic, before it's completely dry, you want to do something like this. Why do you want to do that? because it creates all this beautiful energy. Doesn't work if you do this slow. You cannot do this kind of thing slowly. It'll look like crap, forgive me. But if you do it quickly, with energy, with gusto, speed, energy, strength, you get these nice streaks of white. Why do you want streaks of white? Well, for one thing, it softens everything I just did, because I plastered on the white opaque fairly thickly, right? You saw me kind of plastering it on thick. I ended up with quite a few hard edges. You with me? When you plaster, you get hard edges. When you put it on thick, you get hard edges, okay? So my smearing it like that just diminished a whole lot of those hard edges. And the other thing that it does is it creates these energetic lines. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. And they're pleasant. They look nice. You can't do it slowly or they won't look nice. You have to do it fast with strength and gusto, like this. Okay? And the third thing is it's very beneficial because it helps that white to dry more quickly, because I'm thinning out the fat piles. The parts that are thick that would take 20-30 minutes to dry are now smeared across the canvas, and they'll be dry in 5 minutes. Okay? Speaking of 5 minutes, that's a good place for me to pause. Thanks again for watching. Let me clean off my phone here, and I'll be back. Thank you, John. All right, welcome back. The weather has broken just a little bit, so I took my rain hat back off. And it's time to do some more drawing. This time in a combination of violet and magenta. So it's sort of a cranberry, raspberry red, purplish red on my brush. Really nice. Nice color. Does not have an awful lot to do with the actual colors I'm looking at. Does that make sense? It just looks cool. Why am I using this color? Because I'm an artist. Because it looks cool. That is the artist's job. Is to do stuff, is to create something that looks cool, I'm saying today. My definition of art, for those of you who have missed it, poor you, well, you're about to get it right now. Here's my definition of art. And this is coming from someone who struggles with philosophical issues and has struggled for 40 years. Since I was a college student, at which time we were forced to read piles of books about art and philosophy, most of which was pure crap. Ha ha! Woo! Okay, so here's some crap of my own. What is art? Are you ready? Art is stuff that's made to look at. Period. Let me say it again. Art is stuff that's made to look at with no auxiliary purpose. Okay? So no, there's some smart aleck will say, well then traffic lights are art. And so on and so on and so on and so forth. The famous Marcel Duchamp, who took a urinal, unless you're English, in which case he took a urinal. And signed it with a fictitious name and put it in the museum, all right? And by that he was saying art is anything you want. I disagree with him, I think, intelligently and vehemently. He's wrong. Much of the 20th century, in fact, was wrong as to what art is. That's a very bold statement. Let me support it this way. For most of the 20th century, and they would admit this themselves, art is not stuff that's made to look at. Art is stuff that's made to think about. Now, they have the right, those modern artists, by the way, for you philosophers, you understand the word modern is now a synonym for old-fashioned. Okay, so if you're not a philosopher, you think modern means the latest, greatest gizmo. Your iPhone is modern. No, modern means pertaining to the modern era of which we are now, thank God, free. Anyway, so modern art was all about thinking, because all of modernity was all about thinking. So it's no surprise that modern art is not about experiencing, it's about thinking. That's what all of modernity was about. It was about thinking. In the modern milieu, man was reduced to a thinking animal, a brain on 2 feet, or, as some clever wag put it, a brain on a popsicle stick. That is modern man. Nothing more than a brain, a thinking entity. Now, you're welcome to agree with that viewpoint. You're wrong, but you'll be wrong, but you're welcome to agree with it. You'll be agreeing with most of the philosophers of the modern era. To you young people, that's why you guys aren't modern anymore, because you've taken the modernity that my generation handed to you. Are you with me? People in their 20s, 30s, and younger. You took the modern art view, you took the modern worldview that we handed you, and you declared en masse, you declared horsepucky. You said, and you were right, by the way, you young people said, no, I am not just a brain on a stick. I'm a whole bunch of other stuff, in as well as a thinking being. I'm a feeling being, I'm a sentient being, I'm an intuitive being, I'm a creative being, I'm an imaginative being. See, all of those things were largely eliminated in the modern era. Man was a thinker, period. I'm exaggerating only slightly, just to make the point. But I'm essentially telling you the correct truth. Man was reduced to a thinking machine. And then you young people came along, as I said, and threw a red card. You all grew up playing soccer, right? So you know what a red card is. You threw it out of the game. You said, you're out of here. We are not modern. That's why we call what we live in now the postmodern era. Now, don't even get me going. I just know enough to be dangerous. Jacques Derrida, and a man of letters, a literature poet, author, writer guy, author of postmodernism, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. That's strict postmodernism. That's academic postmodernism. That's not really what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the postmodernism that has come down. I'm talking about the postmodernism that has come down to man on the street. Anyway, so according to modernity, art was stuff that's made to think about. Again, because for the modern man, thinking is all we are. Thinking is all we have. So, of course, art is stuff that's made to think about. Okay, but my definition of art is stuff that's made to look at. Why did I just make that mark right there? If I was a modern artist, the answer would be because, first of all, because I'm trying to express. This is the gesture of the modern artist. Got it? You want to see that again? Modern art. Okay? If I was a modern artist, I would make that mark because I'm trying to give expression to the angst in my soul, and I'm trying to communicate with you. Again, there's that word. Art is all about thinking for the modern man. It's all about thinking. And I'm trying to communicate with you something related to the angst in my soul. You see that? Now again, I'm declaring horse pucky on the whole kit and caboodle, the whole 20th century. Boatload of crap. Absolutely mega loads of absolute crap. Now, we had to go through it, so I'm not, right now it sounds like I'm angry at them, and at times I am, but no, we had to go through it, okay? It was Western civilization. Listen to this. And by the way, I am writing a book on the subject. I have been for 5 years. I have 300 pages written, and it's very far from being published. The art of the 20th century was Western civilization having an adolescent temper tantrum. And listen to this. Adolescence is better than childhood, better than toddlerhood, better than infancy in real life. Are you with me? Do you understand? Human beings have to go through adolescence. I'm saying they do. For want of this for purpose of this conversation, I'll just say all human beings have to go through adolescence. It's something you have to go through, but it's not a good place to camp out. It's not a good place to stay. So I am not upset that the artists of the 20th century gave expression to our to our Western civilization temper tantrum. I do have grave exception with the art professors who are stuck there, which is virtually all the art professors in all the universities in all of Western civilization. But someday they will get unstuck from there. I don't know that I'll live to see it, but I am absolutely positive that the day will come that somebody will wake up and say, what a boatload of crap. At which time, all the Picassos and Michael Basquiat's and Jackson Pollock's and all the other stuff will go, well, they're valuable because they're an authentic expression of history, but they're not art. Okay, so my definition of art is stuff that's made to look at. So why am I making these marks right here? Is it because I'm trying to convey to you, it's red, I'm trying to tell you that communism is the answer to the world. That's why I'm using the color red. I'm being facetious here, I'm sure you recognize that. Of course not. None of it. I'm using this purple color because I'm trying to create a beautiful painting. By the way, I just listened to a podcast yesterday, which it was a podcast for artists, and they were using the term honest art. And I need to get in touch with the authors of the podcast, because I'm not sure, maybe they do, but I'm not sure that the authors of that particular podcast understand that in the art establishment, that is the art world dominated by the universities, the museums, and the municipal art associations, like the National Endowment for the Arts and so forth. The word honest in the art world is a euphemism for, and I'm going to use a naughty word here, but okay, forgive me. It's only slightly naughty. It's not the F-bomb. But in the art world, the word honest, oh, he's an honest artist. His artwork is honest, is a synonym for ugly as hail. Okay? it takes some of the sting out of it if I say it with a southern country accent. Ugly as hail. That's what the art establishment, the word they use for ugly art is honest. And of course that is there is some consistency in their nomenclature, because of course if you're an artist, no, I don't mean that. If you're a modern person, you're a pessimist. And so beauty, you consider beauty, I'm going to use a mildly naughty word, forgive me. Some of these things just can't be said without being a little bit mean. If you're a modernist, you believe beauty is a screw job. You're being intellectually raped if you're sucked in by beauty, because the modern person does not believe that the world, the universe, the cosmos, the future, reality, of course, is beautiful, and all attempts to convey beauty are, again, forgive me, a screw job. You're being, whatted. Okay? Supply your own F-bomb. Again, I disagree vehemently, as you can tell probably. I disagree vehemently with all the sentiments I'm expressing at this moment. And it's taken me years and years and years and years to grow up to the point where I'm willing to go against most of the art professors of the Western world, my own art professors in college included, who were lost as gooses. Plural for gooses, goose-eye. They were lost as goose-eye. Okay, let's get off philosophy, shall we? I had to talk about something while I was, and by the way, all of that stuff will not be in Saturday night's video. I'll overdub the sound so that they don't have to listen to this. Just you lucky people get to hear me. Okay, what am I going to do next? I'm going to wait for this cranberry red color to dry. Then I'm going to do a couple more glazes. I don't know what colors yet. Then white. And then I switch to oil. Okay? Thanks so much for watching. Hope you're enjoying it. Talk to you soon. Hello. Hello. I'm back, and I'm going to do some quick glazes. I feel like, generally speaking, the whole thing needs to be warmed up just a little bit. So I'm doing yellow-orange. Lots of water actually on my brushes right now. More than you would want if you were a real acrylic painter. But it works okay for this kind of thing. It's going to be covered up. It's going to be sealed later in the process. Okay, I like all that warmth. I think I want a little bit more pink up here in the sky. A little more yellow-orange. A little bit drier brushes now, so it sticks a little better. Now, let's get some green. Let me show you my scene that I'm painting again. So there it is, just about like that. Got it? So that's what I'm painting, and I'm hoping for a quick break in the weather somewhere along here. That the sun, it almost did a little while ago during my last break. I had my camera out. I took several pictures. There was sun on the highway between me and downtown, and that was dramatic, but it never quite got it to the downtown buildings. But the weather looks a little less threatening than it did a little while ago, so that's why I took my hat off. Now let's do some blue stuff here and there. That building is very blue. This building is very blue, as you all know, either if you live in Raleigh or if you've watched me paint the Raleigh skyline before. And you know that building is blue. This building right here has a greenish cast. And this shadow on this white building, giving it a blue cast. Blue down here. And all this is trees. I'm afraid you're hearing it echo now, aren't you? It's got to be dramatic for you. I'm sorry about that. I'll try to turn it down in a little while when I have free hands, which I do not have right now. So bear with me just for a minute. Okay, I'm going to do some white highlights, so acrylic white. And I think I'm going to try my new trick again, painting wet in wet. Oh wait, before I do that, let's do some ragging, painting with a rag. Always fun. Particularly fun is to paint with a rag. Oh yeah, nice, nice, nice. Nice effect. Aha, I'm liking it. Like this bridge one more time. Okay, now some white stuff. I just discovered I was missing a number of buildings down here. They were just completely missing. It's funny how that can happen. Be staring at a scene for such a long time. An hour and 20 minutes now. I've been painting and had several buildings completely missing. Didn't even notice till right then. And I'm sure I've got more missing it. That's the nature of plein air painting, when there's so much information in front of you. It is that sensory overload that intimidates so many beginner painters. There's so much stuff in front of you, you don't know where to start. So there's a tendency sometimes to not start. Well, just don't wait till you've got everything figured out. Just start painting. Just start slapping the stuff down, and then make corrections as you go along. That's the key. That's the key concept. Correct as you go. More and more corrections as you go. Let me take a minute again to greet my Red Cross friends. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for gazing steadfastly at the beautiful, I say that by faith, the beautiful finished painting before you. The dazzlingly beautiful. I say that by a lot of faith. Thank you for gazing at this beautiful painting and imagining how fantastic it would look hanging in your home, and the warm, wonderful feeling you'll get every time you look at it. Not only because you like the painting, but because it reminds you of how much you helped people literally whose lives were in danger, and were saved by the American Red Cross. So please get your bidding hand all revved up. Get your paddle warmed up. Let's do some all together now. Let's do some paddle ups. You ready? Paddle up. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got it. Just keep doing that. Just keep doing that. You're good. You're good. Did I ever tell you you're good? Anybody ever tell you you're good at that? And I apologize for the echo. What echo? It's your imagination. Still waiting for a break in the clouds. I believe I'm going to get it. The weather has lightened up a little bit. And when it does, the sun is going to pierce through this gray sky, and we're going to get a glorious light show on the city skyline in front of us here. Again, Red Cross friends, sorry I couldn't be with you today. I am engaged elsewhere. So I'm making this video so I can speak directly to you. Across time, as it were. Special greetings to my friends Linda Kraft and Ginny Bradshaw. Thank you for all your work. And thank you for pestering me enough times to make sure that I actually got this job done. As you can see, it's done. There it is, right there in front of you. Not in front of me yet. But I trust it is in front of you. Okay. Bye-bye, Red Cross friends. Let me talk to those of you who are watching this. And having fun. I am having fun. I tell you, there's just nothing like painting on plein air. This is driving me nuts. Let me turn this down. I'm sure it's driving you nuts too. I'm very thankful to have discovered a monitoring system, but it's a little bit too much of a good thing. So there we go. Turn down. I hope you can't hear that now. Sorry about that. Okay. Yes, I absolutely love plein air painting. One of the reasons is that I can, especially when I'm standing on grass, I can just drip. I can literally throw paint around when I'm standing out here. You know, when it comes down to it, being an artist is a lot like doing a whole bunch of things that your mama told you not to do when you were a little kid. Put down those scissors. Stop drawing in class. When I was in fourth grade, me and my best friend in fourth grade, David Barfus, that's translated from the German, that's barefoot, of course, but his name was David Barfus. We sat in the back of the class. That's where our desks were. And both of us liked to draw. And we would finish our assignments. This is true. We were both good students. And we went on to continue to be good students. But one day, Mrs. McClure, my fourth grade teacher, for some reason, she was tired of me and David Barfus always drawing all the time. And in a seizure of overreaction, she came and put the trash can between our two desks and demanded that we throw in the trash all of our drawings. I think that's hilarious. Mrs. McClure was wrong. Dear Miss McClure, she was dead wrong. We were good students, we really were. We were getting all A's, or very close to it. But for some reason, she thought it was improper for us to be drawing so much. So she insisted. We threw out, I'm sure, 300 pages of glorious artwork. I don't know how glorious it was, but there was a lot of it. I know that. We entertained each other and we entertained the rest of the class. Maybe that's why she was mad. With our brilliant works of art. I have no idea what I was drawing in 4th grade. I know what I was drawing in 5th grade, but 4th grade, I have no idea what I was drawing. I think that's so funny. Talk about, if she had only known. I don't think David did grow up to very, very creative and intelligent person. I don't think he grew up to be a professional artist. But yes, I consider Miss McClure's actions of that day to be severely middle-age-ish, medieval, and wrong. So if you're a 4th grade teacher and you have a student who's drawing all the time, do not do not put the trash can between them next to their desk and ask that they throw out all of their hard-earned masterpieces. I don't think many teachers would do that kind of thing anymore. I think in this regard we live in a more enlightened age. But this was deep in the Middle Ages. 1964 to be exact. And teachers did not value the fine arts quite the way they do these days. Woo! Poor Mrs. McClure, she's not here to defend herself. I'm not sure when she broke the mortal bond. But as I remember, she was pretty old in 1964, so I imagine she's been gone for a very long time and is not here to defend herself one bit. Poor lady. Come back, Miss McClure. Your good name is being slandered around the world. Sun's almost come out. So I'm using, come on. There we go. I'm using HDR Pro. Well, here, you can watch it with me. We're hoping that the sun's going to hit those buildings. Okay, a little bit. Come on, a little more. A little more. I'm going to take a picture of that just in case it doesn't get any better than that. By the way, I was thinking this earlier. In my opinion, the most dramatic lighting that we see, generally speaking, is sunshine hitting an object with gray clouds or dark clouds behind it. So this is, when the sun comes out here in a few minutes, it's going to be very nearly perfect. Well, it's not quite happening. Okay, tell you what, I'm going to keep painting for a while. And keeping half an eye on that sun. Let me say again that this is a very busy subject matter, very complex, I think it's fair to say. It's a busy subject matter. There's a lot going on, there's a lot of detail. The same thing can be said of many natural scenes, purely natural scenes, like, you know, the waterfall, the deer drinking by the brook, and, you know, trees are busy. Foliage is very busy. So anytime you're drawing a highly variegated or busy subject matter, if you don't understand the word variegated, that means multi-textured, multifaceted. So anytime you're painting a highly variegated, busy subject matter, the way to render that is iteratively, if you're going to use that big word. To iterate means to start and to stop. Start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. The start-stop process is called iterative. It just means start, stop, start, stop, okay? And that's, in my opinion, the best way to render any very busy, the word I've been using, highly variegated subject matter. And that's a good description of my process. I draw, then I stop. I stop to do glazes, and I stop to do other things. Draw, stop, draw, stop, draw, stop. That's iterative drawing. And I think that's one of the things that most students miss most often. For instance, when they're painting a tree, they take it into their mind to render the tree all at once. In my opinion, big mistake. No, you want to draw it, this might be a new word for some of you, you want to draw it iteratively. Start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. And that is certainly, I feel like this is really turning into a picture, if you will, a rendering of our fair city. It looks quite a bit like that city down the hill there. But I didn't achieve that similitude by gritting my teeth, grabbing the brush with a death control grip, tongue painting I usually call it, right? I did not. Tongue painting produces stultified, stiff, not attractive marks. So you don't want to, if at all possible, you don't want to draw in a stultified manner. You want to draw in a free manner. I don't normally use a palette knife in the acrylic phase, but with these streetlights, it just seems appropriate. I'll be doing them again in the oil stage, and I fear you guys are still getting an echo. What happens is when the wind dies down a little bit, the quality of my sound goes up because the wind has gone down, and then you begin hearing an echo. I'm so sorry. I will try to fix that in just a few minutes. I can't do it right now, though. I'm too busy painting. Leave me alone. I'm painting. All right. Yahoo! After this layer right here, I switch to oils. How do I know when it's time to switch to oil? Let me give you that formula again. It's time to switch to oils when the drawing is mostly correct, when the colors are mostly correct, and maybe most importantly, when the values are mostly correct. Okay? Within, as we say in the country, within shouting distance of correct. And I think that is the case here. I believe I'm going to go ahead and do this trick one more time. Yeah. Now, you'll notice that most of my marks tend to be at a 45. That is by no means required or necessary. I just find that most of the time that 45-degree angle serves, you know, the energy requirement. I want it to be nice marks, and those 45s usually work fairly well. Although I don't want to be rigid about it. Does that make sense? Okay, it's a good place for me to pause right there. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to switch all my supplies over to oil. If the sun comes out, I'm going to stop and take pictures. But I'll be back in a little bit. Thanks for watching. So I've been doing dark details in oils with small brushes for quite a while now. Nearly finished with the drawing stage. Dark details, of course, and dark, as you know, if it's dark, that means, by my definition, it's transparent. You don't get dark with white paint. In other words, you do not want white paint, which is synonymous with opaque, right? You make paints opaque by adding white to them. And you do not want to create dark paints by using white paint. I hope that sounds outrageous to you. If it does, then you're paying attention. Don't get dark using white paint. Get dark using transparent layers of color. Okay, just about done here. Let's do a little bit of foliage. Dark, dirty green, very dark, dirty green. Down here. A little bit of darkness in here. I want dark, but I don't want a lot of energy. So actually, I want to smudge some of what I did. I want to smooth it out. It's drawing too much attention to itself way down here in the corners. I want it dark, but I don't want it busy. So again, ultramarine and oxide red and viridian green combined to make a very, very dark, almost black green, black green. And a little bit down here as well. Just some of the shapes of trees. Very vague shapes of trees. At the end of this stage right here, all of my darks should be locked in, and the painting should be as dark as it needs to be, and it'll get lighter from here on out. Okay, so I want to make sure I've got adequate darks. And I don't feel like I do right in here. A little bit of light poking through that I don't want. It's nearly time for me to pack up. I'm enjoying painting, but my services are required at home. My wife is wondering when I'm going to walk in the door, and I had better start packing up. Okay? So I'll finish this either tomorrow or Friday. I look forward to your company at that time. And again, to my Red Cross friends, I hope you like the painting. I hope it turns out good. Things look promising. And I hope that you'll place a really good bid on this painting in support of the Red Cross. My back gets sore from standing up a long time. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow or Friday.